On the morning of June 25, 2009, inside a Holmby Hills mansion, the most famous man on the planet stopped breathing. What happened in the bedroom of Michael Jackson has been officially ruled involuntary manslaughter caused by a reckless doctor. But the evidence left behind suggests a story far more complex and far more sinister. As Michael Jackson's life slipped away, a disturbing delay occurred. According to prosecutors and Michael's own staff, his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray, waited a staggering amount of time before calling 911. Estimates range from 25 to 47 critical minutes. What was happening during those missing minutes? In the documentary Killing Michael Jackson, LAPD detectives claimed Murray wasn't focusing on CPR. He was cleaning up the crime scene. Detectives argue Murray ordered a security guard, Alberto Alvarez, to help collect medical paraphernalia to cover up the medical treatment he had been giving, later stating, "At that point, we knew this was not an honest mistake, but that this was on purpose, bad medicine." But in the immediate, chaotic aftermath of the death, the media wasn't talking about propofol. Almost every early report focused on a different drug, Demerol, and that drug pointed to a different doctor. Multiple sources told news agencies that Michael had collapsed at home shortly after receiving a potent Demerol injection at 11:30 a.m. The finger pointed squarely at Michael's longtime dermatologist, Dr. Arnold Klein. The Jackson family reportedly believed Klein was responsible alongside Murray. The LAPD even raided Klein's office, seizing records to investigate his prescription practices. Yet, when the final coroner's report was released 3 months later, Demerol had vanished from the conclusion. The sole cause was listed as propofol intoxication. Dr. Arnold Klein, a powerful eminence in the Hollywood establishment and alleged member of the gay mafia, was legally erased from the death narrative. When Conrad Murray's defense team later tried to call Dr. Klein as a witness to prove he had addicted Michael to Demerol, creating the very insomnia Murray was treating, Judge Michael Pastor dealt a crushing blow. He barred Klein from testifying, ruling his involvement not relevant. Dr. Murray was convicted, but prosecutors called his treatment an obscene pharmaceutical experiment. The toxicology report revealed what experts call polypharmacy, a bewildering number of drugs coursing through Michael's veins. It was a lethal cocktail of anesthetics and benzodiazepines administered by Murray over weeks. One drug in that cocktail is particularly alarming: Midazolam, also known as Versed. It is a benzodiazepine sedative that induces anterograde amnesia, meaning the patient forgets everything that happens under its influence. It is known as a compliance drug that can turn people into obedient zombies. It is also used in some states as part of the lethal injection cocktail for executions to paralyze the brain. The report suggests a chilling parallel. Following 9/11, the CIA's Project Medication researched techniques to induce learned helplessness in detainees, stripping them of their will so they became obedient, like laboratory dogs. Their preferred drug for these experiments? Versed. The exact drug Conrad Murray was routinely injecting into Michael Jackson. Was Michael Jackson being chemically broken? Witnesses described him in his final days as a zombie, walking around in a daze, just saying yes to demands to make life easy. Makeup artist Karen Fay testified that a stoic, frightened Michael kept repeating a single phrase: "Why can't I choose?" According to the report, Michael was being chemically maintained in a state of continuous confusion and compliance by AEG Live's hired doctor. On the night he died, Murray admitted to injecting him with Valium at 1:30 a.m., Ativan at 2 a.m., and the compliance drug Versed at 3 a.m. While the public focused on Dr. Murray, whispers of an organized hit began to surface actors Randy and Evi Quaid fled to Canada, claiming they were being hunted by Hollywood star whackers, a mafia-like ring of accountants and lawyers killing stars for financial gain. They insisted Michael Jackson was a victim of this same ring. Their private investigator revealed a terrifying link. Evi Quaid shared the same prescribing doctor as Michael Jackson, Dr. Conrad Murray. Michael's former manager, Frank DeLeo, who was forced back into Michael's life by AEG just weeks before the death, reportedly told his business partner Mark LaMica that there had been a previous planned mafia contract to kill Michael Jackson. DeLeo claimed he stopped that specific hit. Before dying in 2011, DeLeo threatened to write a tell-all book exposing where the bodies were buried. In Hollywood, there is a code of silence. But when the pressure builds, even the most protected insiders crack. In November 2009, Michael Jackson's longtime dermatologist, Dr. Arnold Klein, crossed the point of no return. Sitting down for a 90-minute interview with TMZ, Klein's hubris and emotionalism got the best of him. He lied to protect himself, but under pressure, he began dropping bombs. When confronted with police records proving his office injected Michael with Demerol for minor acne, Klein first denied it, saying he never did that. Seconds later, he blurted out the truth. He admitted it. But it was his accidental whistleblowing that sealed his fate. In a moment of sheer frustration over unpaid bills, Klein implicated AEG Live, the promoters behind Michael's comeback. Klein stated that AEG hired Dr. Conrad Murray and were culpable in Michael's death. Realizing he had said too much, Klein nervously joked, "I'll probably get shot on the way out." Then, the ultimate bombshell. Klein revealed the exact sequence of events during the missing 47 minutes, while Michael Jackson lay dead before 911 was called. He stated he was told and assured that Dr. Murray made 3 specific phone calls. First, to a patient suing him. Second, to the head of AEG, Randy Phillips. And third, Murray and Phillips called Michael's manager, Frank DeLeo. DeLeo then called Klein. A shadow chain of command was active, while the king of pop lay lifeless. The response from the powers that be was swift. Klein's life went into a tailspin. He lost his wealth. His homes went into foreclosure, and he became a pariah. By 2011, with nothing left to lose, he openly claimed Michael was murdered by a hired hitman, Dr. Murray, employed by corporate interests to steal the Beatles catalog. But the whistleblower wouldn't live to see justice. In October 2015, Dr. Arnold Klein died in a Palm Springs hospital after suffering excruciating abdominal pain for 4 days. He had called 911 himself. The autopsy obtained by the press revealed a terrifying irony. Klein died from a mysterious cocktail of 8 different medications, far more than he was prescribed. Crucially, one of those drugs was Midazolam, the exact same compliance and amnesia drug used on Michael Jackson. Klein had previously claimed someone in his office was trying to poison his medication. The coroner ruled it natural causes. Insiders called it a slow suicide or a slow homicide. Nobody claimed his body. For 2 weeks, the former dermatologist to the stars lay abandoned on ice. The death of Michael Jackson wasn't the end of a dark era. It was the prototype for a new one. Fast forward to today, and the hip-hop world is reeling from a devastating trend. A generation of young gods is dying the exact same way. It's called death by polypharmacy. In December 2019, Juice WRLD suffered a fatal seizure at Midway Airport. His autopsy revealed a deadly mix of oxycodone, codeine, and promethazine. Mac Miller died from mixed drug toxicity. Lil Peep went to sleep on a combination of fentanyl and Xanax and never woke up. The very method used to chemically control and ultimately kill Michael Jackson is now the leading cause of death for modern rap icons. Taking benzodiazepines like Xanax or Midazolam on top of opioids creates a lethal cocktail that multiplies the risk of a fatal overdose eightfold. This combination shuts down the respiratory system. It's the exact blueprint of the Jackson tragedy. But how did this happen? Hip-hop didn't always glorify the addict. In the 80s and 90s, rap was an art form that warned against the dangers of drug abuse in the community. Then, a massive cultural shift occurred. The narrative was remixed. The focus shifted from the drug dealer to the drug consumer. Artists began overtly pushing prescription medicines. Songs glorifying the mixing of toxic, highly lethal combinations, like lean with Xanax or Molly with Percocet, became massive commercial hits. Commercial rap now widely distributes a script that normalizes drug abuse. But critics and insiders argue this shift is no accident. The same corporate forces that surrounded Michael Jackson are the ones steering the hip-hop industry. The response? His label, Geffen Records, printed and shipped 50,000 alternative versions of the album, with the song entirely removed, citing uncleared samples. The founder of that label? David Geffen, a man heavily tied to the very establishment that shielded Arnold Klein. The script has been written. The weapon, polypharmacy, has been normalized. The question isn't just who killed the king of pop. The question is, who is profiting off the ongoing destruction of the culture today? Michael Jackson, the king of pop, a musical icon whose life was as extraordinary as it was turbulent. On June 25, 2009, the world stopped when news broke of his sudden death. But what really happened in those final hours? As Michael Jackson's life slipped away, a sequence of events unfolded that would become the subject of intense scrutiny and a criminal investigation. At the center of it all was his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray. According to prosecutors and witnesses, Dr. Murray's actions during those critical moments were questionable. He delayed calling 911. He reportedly ordered a security guard to help collect pill bottles and medical paraphernalia before help arrived. Detectives claim Murray spent 25 minutes clearing away medical supplies, making phone calls, and sending emails before assisting Jackson with CPR. He was accused of covering up the medical treatment he had been giving, a pharmaceutical experiment, as one prosecutor later called it. The official cause of death, released months later, was acute propofol intoxication with a contributory benzodiazepine effect. Propofol, a powerful anesthetic, was the primary killer. Dr. Murray was the sole administrator of this drug in a home setting, a practice considered highly unusual and dangerous. But in the immediate aftermath of Michael's death, the narrative was different. Early reports focused on another drug, Demerol, and another doctor, Michael's longtime dermatologist, Dr. Arnold Klein. Sources told media outlets that Michael had received a Demerol injection shortly before his death, that his breathing slowed down and stopped. Police confirmed Demerol was found in Michael's home. The Jackson family, according to reports, believed Dr. Klein was also responsible for Michael's death, alongside Dr. Murray. The LAPD wanted to talk to Dr. Klein about drugs he may have prescribed. The coroner's office subpoenaed his records. Reports suggested he was under investigation for his prescription practices. Dr. Klein admitted to occasionally giving Michael Demerol, but denied it was a daily occurrence. Yet, when the final coroner's report was released, Demerol was not listed as a contributing factor. The focus shifted entirely to propofol and Dr. Murray. Dr. Klein, a powerful figure in Hollywood, seemed to have vanished from the official narrative of Michael's death. During Dr. Murray's trial, his defense team wanted to argue that Dr. Klein had made Michael dependent on Demerol, contributing to his insomnia and ultimately his death. They wanted to call Dr. Klein as a witness, but the judge barred Dr. Klein from testifying, ruling it not relevant. Dr. Murray was eventually convicted of involuntary manslaughter, but was he the only one responsible? The toxicology report revealed a bewildering number of drugs in Michael's system, a polypharmacy. In addition to propofol, there were traces of several benzodiazepines. This lethal cocktail was administered by Dr. Murray over time. One drug in particular, Midazolam, also known as Versed, is alarming. It's a sedative that can induce amnesia and make patients compliant. It's sometimes used in lethal injection executions. Its use raises questions about whether Michael was being chemically controlled in his final days. Reports from Michael's final days describe him as confused, easily frightened, and walking around in a daze like a zombie, compliant to the demands of those around him. Was this a state of learned helplessness induced by drugs? Whispers of a darker conspiracy began to emerge. Actors Randy and Evie Quaid claimed a group of Hollywood star whackers were responsible for Michael's death, as well as other celebrities, for financial gain. Michael's former manager, Frank DiLeo, allegedly spoke of a mafia contract on Michael's life that was called off. Dr. Stephen Hoeflin, Michael's longtime plastic surgeon, came forward with explosive allegations. He claimed to be a government witness who had evidence of corruption within the LAPD and their role in obstructing the investigation into Michael's death. He accused Dr. Klein of contributing to Michael's demise through massive injections of Demerol and other drugs. Dr. Klein denied these allegations and even sued Dr. Hoeflin for defamation. He publicly claimed he had never met Dr. Murray. However, he later contradicted himself, admitting he had met Murray in 2007. Dr. Klein's bizarre public statements and shifting stories only added to the mystery. The death of Michael Jackson remains a complex and disturbing saga. Was it a tragic accident caused by a reckless doctor? Or was it something more sinister, a conspiracy involving powerful figures, chemical control, and a cover-up? The questions linger, casting a long shadow over the legacy of the King of Pop. But the loudest alarm came from Michael's plastic surgeon of 25 years, Dr. Stephen Hoeflin. Hoeflin, who claimed to be a government witness exposing LAPD corruption, sent a blistering email to Dr. Klein after Michael's death, accusing him of ruining Michael's health for decades and directly contributing to his death through massive Demerol injections. Hoeflin's most explosive claim concerned those missing minutes before 911 was called. He stated under oath that reporters from The Sun told him they possessed phone records, proving that during that critical window, while Michael lay dying, Dr. Conrad Murray called Dr. Arnold Klein. By November 2009, the pressure on Arnold Klein was totally unraveling him. In a disastrous 90-minute interview with TMZ, Klein's lies began to collapse under questioning. When confronted with police records showing his nurse injected Michael with Demerol for acne in his office, Klein first denied it, saying, "I don't give Demerol for acne, ever." Seconds later, he cracked. Seemingly realizing he was saying too much, Klein nervously joked, "I'll probably get shot on the way out." He then implicated AEG Live, stating they hired Murray and were culpable in the death because they were making money off the funeral in the movie. But then, Klein dropped the biggest bombshell regarding the phone calls made by Murray while Michael lay dead. Klein admitted he was told and assured of the sequence of 3 calls Murray made before calling 911. First, Murray called a patient suing him. Second, he called the head of AEG, Randy Phillips. And third, Murray and Phillips called Frank DiLeo. The report suggests a terrifying chain of command active during the cover-up. Murray calls AEG. AEG calls DiLeo, all before the paramedics were notified. Following these revelations, Klein's life collapsed into bankruptcy and foreclosure. In October 2015, he died in a Palm Springs hospital waiting room after suffering excruciating pain for 4 days. The autopsy revealed a mysterious cocktail of 8 different medications in his system, far more than he was prescribed. Crucially, one of those drugs was Midazolam, the same compliance drug Murray used on Michael. Klein had previously claimed office staff were trying to poison him by mixing his meds. Insiders called his death a slow suicide, or perhaps a slow homicide. Nobody claimed his body for 2 weeks. He had broken the code of silence. As his former friend David Geffen once said about why he wouldn't write a tell-all book, "Where would I live?" The cocktail that killed Michael Jackson, the mix of opioids and benzodiazepines, is not gone. It has become the trendy way to die in modern hip-hop. Juice, Baby RLD, Mac Miller, Lil Peep, all victims of polypharmacy. A cultural shift has occurred. Commercial addict rap now normalizes the very murder weapon used against the king of pop, glorifying lethal combinations like Xanax and lean. Critics argue this is no accident, pointing out that the same corporate forces, like David Geffen, that circled Michael Jackson still have immense power in the industry today. Michael Jackson was warned that they would kill him for his catalog. The evidence suggests that through chemical control, corporate maneuvering, and a deadly final cocktail, that is exactly what happened.